and welcome to Totally Tell Me, a weekly entertainment review podcast where we talk about movies, music, food, and fun. My name's Dominic Mercurio, and I'm here with Laura Weinbach.
Yellow. How's it
And
going?
I'm doing good. I was like
don't
caught.
say any more than that.
Yeah, I was almost caught off guard, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I thought I wanted to get you by surprise there for a minute, but let's
Right,
keep going.
right. And Ginger Fierstein. How's it going?
You know what? I got a pint of ice cream that I bought minutes before we started this podcast, and it's everything I wanted it to be. So I'm in my happy place.
Yeah, Humphrey Slocum, classic San Francisco treat. I guess Bay Area treat in general, but you know.
Peanut butter fudge ripple.
That is actually one I haven't tried, but I feel like they're really aren't they like very much known for their boozy one, the one that has like it's like the bourbon cornflakes flavor or something like that. Have you heard about that?
Cornflakes.
Yeah, it's like
I can guarantee you those cornflakes have sugar added.
Yes.
We just talked about.
They're not plain at all. You know, I haven't heard, but that sounds deeply intriguing. Though my options at the corner store were matcha doodle, really tempting.
No. Glad you didn't go with that.
Vietnamese iced coffee, which I was like, oh fuck, I love coffee ice cream. I love Vietnamese iced coffee. Put it in an ice cream, and then there was something else that sounded kind of good, which I can't remember. But then peanut butter fudge ripple.
I think you made the right choice.
Blast it out, and I actually agree. Yeah, that's the right choice. Yeah, because coffee.
I am not into a matcha anything. Sorry to say.
I fuck with it, but I understand.
I'm really glad that you just said I fuck with it, because that's I kind of been I mean I've been fucking with that phrase lately, and it's really nice to know that other people have been fucking with.
Oh yeah, or sometimes if I'm feeling extra
fucking with that
chill.
one for aeons, boy.
Yeah.
You been.
Come on, you got to get up on the I fucks with
get up on it.
Yeah, I
F-U-X.
fucks with it. You're right.
Snap.
I fucks with it. What about that one?
No,
Laura?
it's not. That's not how it goes. It goes, I fucks with it.
Yeah, that's true. You got to go the whole way.
Yeah, you can't go halfway, Dominic.
Yeah, I'm not that cool, so I try to be
Sorry.
authentic and only be half cool. You know.
Yeah,
That's like fucking, but only halfway.
right. Halfway in, kind of. Sort of. Just
No, it's like you're like doing it, and then it's like you don't go all the way.
Ooh.
Oh,
You know,
I
like
see.
like you just pull out before it's all over.
Right.
Or
Before
something like that.
the fireworks.
And then how does that make you feel? Terrible.
I mean, maybe terrible. But
Terrible.
maybe also,
Just like when you say I fucks with it, makes me feel terrible.
Well, speaking of halfway doing things, I only halfway introed the show, which is Totally Tell Me. We're a bi-weekly podcast, and our intro music that you may have just been hearing if you were in our little waiting room was Control by Foxel's Brigade, which is Laura and mine and Anton's band. And yeah, so right now we're live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So you might be watching us live, or you could be listening on podcast services a few days late. And if you are listening on podcast services, oh, you know what? Oh no, okay, we're good. I thought for a second that I had never unmuted myself, and I was having a moment. I was like, oh shit. Anyways, if you're listening on podcast services, you could always watch us live on the next show, which is it'll be 2 weeks from now, April 25th at 7 p.m. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing Speed, which is the 1994 action movie classic hit starring Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock, among others. That's going to be in the second half of the episode. First half of the episode, we're just going to be chit-chatting, catching up, eating ice cream, etc., etc. Now, okay, I will say I got a little bit of a plug that I just want to do at the top of the show here, and then we'll get into like the real nitty-gritty things. But I do just have a bit of an announcement that if you follow me on social media, you may have already known this, but I directed a live stream, or not, I directed a live virtual show for Toon Yards, which I'm very excited about. And that's going to be airing, what is it, April 28th. April 28th.
Why are you calling it a live virtual show instead of just like a live performance? Kind of. Or like a live performance video.
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. I've kind of been liking calling it a virtual show because that was sort of like, I feel like my thesis for going about it. Like I wanted to make it feel, instead of just like capturing a performance in a room, I wanted to like bring the feeling of a live show as much as possible into what we were doing. So like it's kind of more than just them performing live. I'll just leave it there mysteriously, but like we did some really fun stuff with like kind of props and lighting and even I don't know, there's some light editing, but for the most part it's like these really long takes, and so it was more like these long one take dances of like they'll play 4 songs in a row and then like various things are kind of shifting and changing in the room. There's like some interaction as well. I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything, but I feel like I really wanted to bring it to making the audience feel as if they were at a live show, or like as close as you could get in these times, which is, unfortunately not very close.
I've been to many Tune Yards shows, and if this is anywhere near the amount of fun and phantasm as the ice cream's got me all fucked up. But if this is anything like that, bravo, sir, bravo.
Well, yeah, you'll have to let me know. But I also love their live show and wanted to try and capture the fun of that. Oh, and I guess like another fun part of it too is like something that you don't really get to normally see live is like all their crazy pedal work and stuff. And I feel like we really went out of our way to kind of feature that as well in some really fun and unique little ways. So anyways, that's April 28th if you want to check it out. It's going to air.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for you both to see it. If you want to get tickets, it's noonchorus.com/tuneyards. And you can purchase a ticket and then you'll get a link and then you follow that link and you can watch the show live. So yeah, that's that on that. Very excited. Cool. I'll probably update you again on our next show, which will just be a few more days for that. But anyways, Ginger.
Excellent.
Ginger, if you don't know Ginger, she's been on the show a couple times actually. Never in our new sort of live stream video format, but she was on, I suppose, the old school format, just the regular old mics in front of our face kind of vibe.
You didn't get to watch me eat ice cream, but I will say that the last time I was on the show was just before your birthday, and Laura made a bomb. I think it was a cake that was just out of this world. So we at least got to indulge. Yeah, you made some. Yeah, I remember it was a cake because I feel like I took a photo of the birthday cake, but I remember it was like an almond light affair. Nice. It was.
I'm pulling it up actually. I'm gonna put it over Laura. Sorry.
Wait,
Laura,
we had the birthday cake for the episode. Like it was.
I don't think it was a part of the episode. I think it was just like a BTS.
Something we did. Okay.
Spoiler.
If you look on one of our live streaming platforms right now, Laura, you'll see it. I have the photo up.
Oh, let me see.
Yeah, that was fun. I mean, that cake was quite delicious.
I didn't make that.
Oh well.
No, you definitely put some stuff on it though, didn't you?
You served it.
You absolutely served it.
I feel like you made some amazing dinner.
I served it, but I did not make it.
Laura, are you quite positive? Because I almost feel like you did. Oops. Wait,
really?
I'll put it up again.
I feel like that looked like a Whole Foods Chantilly cream cake with berries and.
All right, it could be.
But you did make like a fancy dinner. You did something.
I think I might have made a steak. I think I made steak.
I remember you did something that I was like, wow, Laura's so fancy. Like I was really impressed, but I will admit I wasn't surprised because I was like, yeah, this tracks. I feel like Laura would be a really good cook. So
I am, but I don't know if I made that cake. I wish I could say I did, but I actually did make a cake last night, and it's pretty good. Because I'm like, I thought I was gonna be diabetic. I can get to this later if we're like not on my turn, but I got these like diabetic cakes.
Oh no!
Cake mixes, and they're kind of dope, as they say.
Yeah.
Like no sugar or very little sugar or something?
Like it doesn't have sugar. It has like other stuff, but not bad other stuff. I mean, it has a really good texture and flavor, and I might even prefer it to regular cake.
And it's preemptively good for you, so that's a bonus.
It's better for you, I guess. It's not. I mean, they're keto cakes. You know about keto?
Oh right,
that
yes,
keto
of course.
shit. You fucks with that?
I don't fucks with it. I don't fucks. I love carbs too much.
You just say what you just said with it.
I did, of course. I can't help myself. I can't lie. I'm authentic.
I never messed with it myself. I'm gonna just take it back to the original style and say messed with.
Okay.
Fair. But yeah, I have to say, now that I might just keep messing with it, if you know what I mean.
Damn.
Sorry.
Damn.
Carry on though. Let's just get away from this and get back to business.
Ginger is a photographer here in the Bay Area. But not only is she an amazing photographer, she also has been creating some really cool little art pieces that I'm gonna plug for Ginger if she doesn't herself. I got these really cool coasters from Ginger. Check these out.
Cool.
I mean, wow, look at that.
I love that it's a hexagon.
I know. I didn't make the hexagon. I bought the hexagon, but I put the pieces of art inside of it. Yes.
No, it's cool. It's a really cool presentation.
Wait,
I love it.
What's going on inside really exactly? What is that?
It's a bunch of concentric circles of one photograph and one piece of marbled paper that I really liked, and then just kind of like interchanged with each other. Because my studio mate for Christmas got one of those Cricut cutting machines. Have you heard of these?
No.
It's like imagine a 3D printer, but in 2D only, aka an automated cutting machine. So it's like it doesn't
like it can cut in different shape, any shape you want or something.
Exactly. You just program into the kind of space, like whatever, SVG or.
Wait, so that's a really cool because you can have like die cut stuff as much as you want. Like
totally.
All you can eat.
Yeah.
And that shit is expensive if you like order it, as a business card or something. Which
exactly.
is something I always wanted to do, but I never thought, I just was like, I'm just gonna go rectangle because.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't been making as good of use of it as I would like, but that's the curse of having a studio where you have like so much cool stuff to work on that you don't work on anything. You're like, I'm just
right.
Like
paralyzed by choice.
So those concentric circles are all comprised of one photo, just rearranged in different orders.
Yeah, exactly. So I programmed the machine to cut like perfect concentric circles, and they're all exactly the same. So I can do it through a few different photos and then interchange like all the circles within each other. And
but is that one photo or is it multiple photos combined?
It's one photo.
And then
and then one piece of marbled paper. So
and then it's like out of order kind of.
Yeah, alternating kind of like marble photo. So
yes, got you. Oh, okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
And there's more designs too. It's not just that design too. You had a bunch of really cool ones. That was just the one that I ordered.
Yeah, and then Josh copied you and ordered a set like later on. Shout out to Josh. What's up?
I think Josh might be in the chat. So Josh, what did you think of your little coasters? Yeah, he got a different one. Actually, when he got his, I was like getting a little jealous because his were like. I was like, man,
leaves or something. Like I was like, I could do geometric shapes, or I could do random. Like, I fell down a hipster rabbit hole and got monstera like silhouettes, and I'm like, I could just cut out like little monstera leaves out of all my photos, which are also photos of monstera leaves. Oh my god, it's like a never-ending like. It's very meta up in here. So meta.
He says loved them. The plants. Yeah, I guess he got the plant themed ones. Yeah.
Hooray! I have so much holographic paper. Wow. Damn, that's what I should have used as my background.
Just a medium I've never really, gotten deep into, but it sounds really cool.
Collage. It's when you have too many photo prints and you're like, shit, what do I do with all this?
I guess I've done collage stuff, but I don't know, like holographic, or what did you call it? What kind of paper?
I have a bunch of holographic paper. Josh's
holographic paper, yeah.
His featured some shiny stuff, and I am attracted to the shiny, like
it kind of like changed colors as you move it. It kind of like changes colors, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So what's marble paper? I'm trying to like.
So paper marbling. You know how a really common example of this is going to be like those book in pages when you open it and it's that beautiful kind of like that paint that's in those little ripple patterns. So that's paper marbling.
Oh, so it's like when you have swirl paint and then you dip the paper on it and it's like creates a marbleized. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh, I've made that before. Yeah, that's cool.
That is a fun
I didn't know
hashtag.
that was technically called paper marbling, but that's awesome.
Yeah, I follow hashtag marbled on Instagram, and it'll usually be marbled paper and the like, and then sometimes it'll be like a fat, juicy cut of meat with a bunch of fat marbled in. I'm like, okay, all right, well, this is tight. Technically,
well
this is
marbled.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you want in a steak.
Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah. Ginger, there's some other fun little photos I was thinking about sharing, but I feel like there's a little bit of a backstory with this. Recently, well, not really recently, but this is honestly maybe like before the pandemic, but me and Ginger were we were just chatting about a mutual love of ours, which is the Mars Volta.
Oh, yes. Are we going to share this here? Is this happening?
It's happening. Yes. I mean, it must happen.
Out us so hard. Out us for the crazy TMV fucking super nerds, super loser teenagers that we were / cool ass adults that we are.
We made an absolutely insane discovery about each other, which was not only are we both like I mean, I still consider myself a fan of Mars Volta. I think you do too. But I was like a major fan in high school. I was going to every single show that they were.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, so I think I saw them in the realm of 12 to 14 times or something.
I think I only saw them 9 or 10 times. So you out nerded me. Dang.
But what we found out though is, because I don't even know how we got on the topic of it, but I was like, I think I was just like, oh yeah, I met Cedric once. Cedric is the singer of the Mars Volta, if you don't know. And then Ginger was like, oh my god, I met him too. That's so crazy. I was like, oh, like where? We started talking about like, oh, where did you meet him?
What obscure, super tiny, super obscure Mars Volta show did you go to in Northern California?
Yeah, and then we basically figured out that we met him at the same show, which was when they played up in Petaluma. I'm actually forgetting the name of the venue.
The Phoenix Theater.
I know the Phoenix.
Yeah.
I played there, and so is Anton.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
I think. Oh, you haven't done it, Dominic? You haven't played? Okay.
No, I've not played the Phoenix.
Is it? I think it's still there, right?
I hope so. I
I mean, who knows with the pandemic? But last year or the year before last, they were still doing a damn thing. But keep going.
That still counts.
Yeah.
Right now. Oh shit! I think I might have just spoiled it. But I have some photographic evidence. So then Then it went to the next.
Oh, that you saw them there.
It gets better.
Yeah, it gets better. Not only do we figure out that we were both at the exact same show and that we both met Cedric at that show, we also realized that we both had pictures of ourselves meeting Cedric at this show. So I'm gonna pull this up for I'm gonna put this over Ginger's screen. So if you're watching live, you can see there's Ginger and Cedric.
I basically look exactly the same. That's me at age 18.
I'm starting with you because of the reveal that's about to happen, which is like Ginger, you look like pretty similar. I'll say that much. Yeah. Laura, are you able to see this?
Yes, I am. That does look the same. Oh my god!
Like I know. This is what, like 10 years ago, probably.
This is age 18. I'm 32 now. It is 14 years ago.
14 years ago. So look, in 14 years, Ginger has aged not a day. Okay. And then this is me at the exact same show meeting Cedric. Now, yikes.
I'm not seeing that.
Yikes. Oh, you will in a second. It's probably a bit of a delay,
it's
but
very endearing, Dominic. I think you're just like, I just want to give you a big hug, like when I see this photo of you.
No, I think last time we were talking about supercuts. This is definitely like a supercuts hairstyle right here. We're seeing me kind of have like a poofed out, section on the sides here, and then for some reason short, like a little too short on the bangs. It's a questionable decision.
Well, it's the weird thing that you even have bangs. I guess it's not that weird. I guess you have bangs now, but it's like they're almost like girls' bangs or something, kind of. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Is that a normal thing? Wow, look at you. Looking all proud to be hanging out with Cedric.
Just absolutely hilarious, though. I mean, like, this is like the same wall. I'm just like flipping back and forth.
Same exact location. It's like as if I was like, let me take your photo. It's like, okay, get out of here. Next fucking weirdo teenager. All right, Dominic, like, other side.
we must have been right next to each other and didn't even know it. Like, me and Ginger did not know each other at this time. So like we just barely missed each other,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Moments away from each other.
Wait, how can I ask? I mean, do you guys know how far apart in age that you are?
We're the same age.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dominic
Oh
and I
my
are like
God,
twinsies.
you could have been friends.
We could.
I know.
It haunts us. It haunts us.
It
Like
does
Could have
haunt
been
us.
twins.
like
I wish I would have met Ginger back then.
I would have been there for you, Dominic. We would have been like just
I know.
for each other, you know.
I needed another Mars Volta fan in
Would
my
have
life.
been able to skip all those days of being depressed that
Yeah.
year.
That's true.
Had you
I know.
been friends?
Well, guess
Doesn't have
what?
to be.
We're friends now. We're making up for
Yeah,
last time.
yeah,
And if
exactly.
the Mars Volta ever get back together, and or if
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
frankly, if any of the Mars Volta, like Omar Cedric, goes on some kind of tour, we are going together.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
like, I can't think of anyone else that I can go with now to that show.
I know. I don't really have like anyone in my life that is like, I feel like some people like the Mars Volta, but you see it's different for me and Ginger.
Did they print out the Deloused and the Commentarian book and read it, even though it's full of Cedric's fucking weird gibberish? No. But do I still have a photo? Oh my God, I bet you if I were to look in my bookshelf for a photocopy of Deloused and the Commentarian, the book, I would find it, at least somewhere. I know I did not throw that shit away.
I honestly just don't even have any idea what you're talking about, but it's
Yeah,
okay. It
I
sounds
know.
like you guys do.
It's
I'm
deep
not
nerd.
sure that-
It's deep nerd stuff.
I have,
I'm
anyways.
glad that you guys are into it.
I have the Bedlam and Goliath USB Ouija board, whatever it's called. The little,
Oh, I do too.
chair or whatever. Like, I found that in my my cabinet the other day. I'm like, oh, this is cool. So,
Hell
Wait,
yeah.
anyways,
the Mars Volta had a Ouija board merch item.
yes,
Really?
Yeah.
or it wasn't a Ouija board.
That's
It was a
freaking cool.
USB that was. What are the little?
Oh,
What are the planchette? They had a planchette shaped USB device for their 4th album as a USB with the album on it. instead
It's
of
like the thing that floats
okay.
on a.
God. No, I know what it is. I know what
Yeah.
a planchette is.
But that was kind of tied
Oh,
into the
that's
actual
cool.
album itself, because that album, they said that,
was
that
like
their
when
studio was
everyone-
kind of haunted. And so
Oh.
they felt like they had some interactions with spirits while they were recording that album. So it kind of like played into the whole story
Where
of
did
the
they
album.
record that album? Do you know?
I don't remember, but do
No,
you?
that's a.
I don't. I wasn't.
Oh.
You know, I was nerdy about it, but I wasn't nerdy to the point where I'm like, ooh, they're recording on this, like at this place. You know, now I'd be way more nerdy about like what
Yeah.
studio are they at? Who are they working with?
Totally.
But back then I was just kind of like, what do the words mean? Oh my God, Cedric is so handsome, like in a weird, gyrating, gender bendy kind of falsetto.
Oh yeah.
vibe.
No, I was also very attracted to him and Omar, to be honest.
Yes, I
Both of
mean,
them.
like I get it. I still totally, you know, I need to get out all my posters. Anyways, whew,
Anyways,
Mars Volta.
this is like for 3 people.
Yeah,
We've really
you know
gone
what?
down a rabbit hole.
You know what? But those 3 people are like, I found my people. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways,
Yeah, so Laura, what have you been up to? We have not really talked much with you in this Mars
Yeah,
Volta
That's okay.
rant.
Sorry.
No problem. I've been falling down the really sort of disturbing rabbit hole of trying to buy a house, which is something I did not
Oh.
expect to be engaged with anytime in the near future, but it has now become a thing and has presented itself, and it's freaking hard, dude. Like, it seemed so exciting at first, and I'm still excited by the possibility of it, but it's really like emotionally disturbing in a lot of ways.
that's what I keep hearing.
Yeah, like trying to buy a house in the Bay Area. I mean, I just was so green and blind to the realities of it when I first started even thinking about it. But anyways, like, yeah, I just thought, oh yeah, you can, you know, seeing these really amazing houses on the market for a certain price and then being like, that's possible. And then finding out that house sold for like $600,000 more than it was listed, or $500,000 more than it was listed for, and that's kind of like the normal way it goes down.
Mhm.
Is
Damn.
freaking nuts. It's like,
Damn.
I mean, it just makes you think like, okay, there's none of this is possible.
Yeah.
Possibly or not. I don't know. It's just really weird, and like, I don't know if you guys have ever tried looking into what it might mean to buy a house, but it's like, I never did before. And then, but yeah, I'm learning like people are in the Bay Area are just like buying stuff without even looking at like the disclosures or like doing any inspections on houses. They're just paying top dollar, like over $200,000 over the listing price without even caring about if there's any damage to the, like if there's any big problems that need to happen, like a roof needing to get replaced, or the.
They're just trying to scoop it up.
Yeah, sorry if this is like so boring, but it's just like what I've been doing lately, and I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. It's like a freaking total competition. I mean, everybody who's in the market, I guess, knows this, but it is a fucking competition to pay like a lot of money for something.
Yikes.
Isn't that ridiculous?
It's a lot more relatable. They should be
competing for us. I mean, I don't know. It's just so weird.
Well,
it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right. But anyway, that's where it's at.
Damn.
Yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, I've seen some very beautiful areas of Oakland that I didn't even know about before, and we should go there sometime soon. I'm gonna get my second shot of vaccine next week, which is exciting.
Wait, I didn't realize that you had your first.
I did. Oh, you didn't? Yeah, I got my first shot, like 2 weeks ago or whatever.
We're almost on the same schedule. I get my second shot in 2 weeks.
Not to gloat.
Oh, good. Wait, when did you get yours?
I mean, I also got it a couple weeks ago.
Guys are
we just didn't tell each other. Yeah. What about you, Ginger?
I have been very lucky to be fully inoculated at this moment in time. Like,
nice.
The juice is soaked in. The microchip is just floating around. We good.
You're on that 5G now?
Oh yeah, for real. Let's see, what have I done? So I just mentioned to you guys before the show started, I was dropping off a good friend at the airport. And he and his partner were down here visiting from Portland because they were going to a wedding. And I used to live with this particular great friend back in the day. I found him on Craigslist. Best Craigslist find yet.
How did you find him on Craigslist?
Oh, well, we needed a roommate, and we just put it out there. And
sorry. Okay, gotcha. Sorry.
Yeah, this was like 2012 or something, and I had never looked for a roommate via Craigslist, so I was not jaded. And my friend, his name is Paul. Paul had never applied for a house on Craigslist, and he didn't see any other houses. This was the first house he applied to, and by golly, like it just worked out. Neither of us were super jaded. He sincerely was just looking for a friend, or like I put, what we were all into on our Craigslist ad. And he was just like, I love all those things. And I'm like, well, cool, live with us. And anyways, fast forward, it worked out. And we're still good pals. And, his partner works at a hospital. She's fully vaccinated. She's not in the medical profession, but, just by proxy, she's got her full shot. And then my older mate Carlos and I, who maybe you guys know, or I'm pretty sure you guys know, but you would know him if you saw him at least. Carlos and I were on the exact same vaccination schedule, but my friend had only had one shot. So today we went out for an outside lunch, and it was just like, oh my God, I don't have crippling anxiety doing this. Even, like 75% of us have had full shots sink in all the way. Like I've never appreciated being at a restaurant paying money before in such a way, like and just not feeling like crippling, like, oh my God, I'm gonna die, this is a bad idea. Like
yeah, I know. I mean, yesterday I was driving through Orinda. I don't know if you have been through there, but there was like, we were trying to get a coffee maybe to go, and then like there was really no coffee places in the area that we were, but there was a diner, and I was like, damn, I could kind of go for like a diner type breakfast, like a Grand Slam type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a sort of.
Was it Denny's specifically?
It's been a while. No, but it was like, they probably had a Grand Slam equivalent. I was like, we haven't had that in a long time, have we? Like just a breakfast at a diner. And he's like, well, yeah, it's the pandemic. I was like, man, that's a thing I could be down for at some point soon. He's like, you want to go right now? I was like, no, I don't want to go right now. We don't have our vaccines yet.
Right.
And then I thought, but when we do, that could be a darn fun thing to do as one of the first things one does So
I'm just excited to like.
It's not that long. It's not that long now. You know,
Soon.
like a couple more weeks or 3 more weeks or whatever, and then you can come over for a sleepover. You can play some video games.
We might even do an episode of this physically together.
A Briac fast. We might even be able to do an episode together.
Wow.
And
can you believe that?
Yeah. Well, it just reminded me of touring. You know, like. Oh yeah, we haven't had a breakfast like that because we haven't been on tour, and then we haven't been on tour because of the pandemic. And we've been on the pandemic because of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump because of racism, and I don't know.
What shots did you get? Just curious.
Pfizer.
I got Moderna. I'm on that Moderna.
Oh wait, did you have any reactions?
Actually, I did have just very light flu-like symptoms, you know, not really to like actually having a fever or anything, but I just kind of had chills and just kind of felt really lethargic. And I felt the main thing was just I felt really tired for like 2 days, and my arm was super sore where I got the shot. So for the most part, it was pretty mild. Josh actually had slightly more severe symptoms, like he actually had a fever and. Like his symptoms were a little worse. I think it was also just like a couple days, but it was kind of like we got it the exact same day, and then like I just feel like I had a much lighter amount of symptoms for the same amount of time that he had slightly worse symptoms. But yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely dreading the second shot a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna be so relieved once it's all over. But just like I don't know, I'm hoping I don't get like a crazy symptom. You know what I mean?
I didn't have any symptom. I mean, the only thing I had was like my arm was a little sore, but that's like with every kind of shot that you get.
Yeah.
And then I didn't have any other kind of reactions, and so I'm hopeful that I'll be not that reactive on the second one. But I don't know.
I keep hearing that Pfizer is a little more mild, it seems. Like
I've heard that as well.
I think it's really different for everyone. I don't know. Like my brother Brent got his. He got. Oh wait, no, he got. Wait, no, I don't know if he got Moderna or Pfizer, but I know that his arm was sore for like many days, more than 2, like at least 4.
I had no symptoms either shot. Maybe if anything, like ever so slight, like just fatigue. But that just could be normal life, being like, I'm fucking over this. But I definitely do still feel like pain in the arm in which I got a shot. And this was like,
still?
Still about 2.5, 3 weeks ago. But
wow.
I think,
what the heck?
But it's not pain that I really notice. It's just sort of like, because I know it's there, I can identify it. But, like, it's not something like if I move my arm, like, I don't feel it. It's just sort of like, like every once in a while, I'll just kind of like feel a little ping to remind myself. And I'm like, oh, that's so, I'm not trying to, no, it's certainly like no inconvenience.
But what does it mean?
It means the microchip is just like really, doing its job.
Yeah, it's beeping with the.
Yeah, I'm worried about that a little bit. What
there's no bruise. It's totally chill. Like it's just more like, like interesting. And I have to kind of like,
there's a
there's a there's a But
I don't know if we want a
But guess what? Guess what? There's not a
Yeah.
Or
a
Okay. Okay. Let me ask you this: if you just made a record and then you showed it to someone and their response was like, that wouldn't be good. You know what I mean? I don't think I'd like that.
But you know what?
And I don't like it getting the Pfizer shot either.
Wait, can I tell you guys a confession? Like and I say this only because I obviously am a super fan now, and we just brought this up. But the first time I ever heard a Tune-Yards song, it was
I thought you were gonna say Foxtails Brigade.
No.
I wouldn't have been surprised.
No, the first time I heard Hatari, it was 2010 maybe, and I was with my old roommate Caitlin Clarkson, who had impeccable indie taste and was always the one introducing me to the hottest new indie tracks. And she played that song for me, and I was like, what? Like, so doesn't mean bad. It's just sort of like,
yes, it does.
No, but I now
immediate response was not amazing. It wasn't like, wow.
I mean, come on, Laura. You've never had like a reaction to something that you later ended up loving? I mean, like, I could name multiple for you.
That is to say, No, of course I have. But that is to say that my initial reaction was lukewarm at best. AKA, I wasn't like a very enthusiastic 2 thumbs up. But then eventually I grew to like it. So the point is that, meant not great.
Right. But maybe what Ginger is saying is like, she's feeling about her reaction right now, but maybe she's gonna look back. She's gonna grow into she's just gonna love it.
She's gonna look back and she's gonna go, I love this. I love this feeling of
She's gonna start doing this again. She's gonna be like, it still hurts, but I love it.
Yeah. Well, if we are really going back in the time machine, stuff Ginger's talked about in the podcast, like, okay. Well, there's already stuff on the public record that would indicate to folks who pay attention that Ginger noticing some pain and being like, kind of like it. Not off-brand.
Right.
Very on-brand for me.
What was once a is now a is now a
or like a
It's more of a
You get
I guess that is a good thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's definitely a good thing when you're like You know what I mean?
I don't know how well this mic is picking up my subtle non word-based responses. But...
Oh, we're hearing
it's picking it up.
Yeah,
okay.
and I'm loving it.
What if you were Dominic? Tell me that we're going to Sizzler tonight.
All right, guess what, Laura? We're going to Sizzler.
That's a good thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But is that a good thing in reaction to like a song that you just played me? Like pretend that you're just turning off the track for the latest Fox Hills Brigade track that I hadn't heard yet. Like, go ahead and just hit that stop button.
What do you think?
Now, what do you think of that?
That was not the way I did it. You have to be like this. Then
See, I don't know. That still seems like...
No, then
I think you'd be like, uh-oh.
No, I'd be like, so you liked it? Well, okay. This is Dominic's classic response when he really likes something. He'd be like, I love it.
It's true.
It's like, I mean, it's just amazing. Everything about it. I mean, I love this and that about it. When he's not that into something, he's like, I like it.
Oh, but...
No, I mean, it's good, And I'm like, you hated it.
Oh, no.
Which is never the case. Like, it's pretty rare that the only things I hate are non-Fox Hills Brigade related.
Yeah.
But it's like, for him not to love something is the equivalent, in my feeling, of him hating something, because it's like, I'm so used to feeling that love, Right.
But it can't all be love.
Churning out genius product all the time. Just kidding.
Anyways, is there anything else?
How have you been, Dominic? Nike.
I mean, I more or less briefed myself, but let's see. I mean, I'm staring at this giant TV that was just delivered to me. I guess this is a bit of a story. Look at that. I got a new TV that I've yet to set up.
Wow, that looks fancy.
For free?
Why'd you
Not
get
for free.
another new TV?
Darn.
Because
You're
Laura,
always getting new TVs, Dominic.
I know.
He's a cinephile. The man needs to see. If he's not going to go to the theater, it's the best. It's the next best thing. Like, give the guy a break.
Ginger just took the words out of my mouth. That's the exact reason I bought a new TV. I'm just sitting here and I'm watching all these movies and I'm like, I need the absolute best for my room, And honestly, this isn't the absolute best. It's just like a pretty damn good TV. It's certainly not like. I mean, I would love to be able to spend thousands of dollars on a TV, but I simply cannot with my budget.
How much was that?
It was about
$1,400.
It was $500?
Yeah. Which for me is like the most I've actually ever spent on a TV.
I just have a shitty computer monitor that's hooked up to like a Apple TV. That's my TV. It's like...
And that's totally fine.
I thought that's how much TVs were, though. Like, wait, how much was the TV that you told me to buy? I forgot.
Oh, I don't remember. It was maybe like a 300 or 400. I usually I feel like if people aren't super in, like if they aren't obsessive like I am, I feel like you can get a $300 TV that looks absolutely incredible, and I think it's kind of, what's it called? Like diminishing returns as you kind of go up and up and up. Like for me to make the next jump from this, I'd basically have to spend $1,000 plus. you know, and I just don't feel like I'm quite ready to do that. Almost, but not quite. But here's the real kicker, though. I ordered this shit from Walmart. Okay, I ordered it some point last week, and they were like, okay, great, it's gonna be delivered on Wednesday, like the upcoming Wednesday that we have not yet crossed. It's Sunday right now.
Sometimes they deliver early.
And then I got an update that was like, oh, guess what? It's actually coming on Tuesday. I was like, what a fun little surprise. One day early, I'll make sure I'm at home. Now, I'm currently dog sitting with Josh in Soma. I mean, right now I'm home, but I just like rushed home to do this, and I'm going to rush on back after this. But like, I'm not really at home this weekend, and I was not planning on being home this weekend. And then I'm over in Soma dog sitting, and I get an email that says that my TV's been delivered.
Oh,
and I'm
shit.
like,
oh my god!
And I know
that's actually not cool.
It is very not cool. And I knew that my roommate was also not home this weekend, so like, I'm like, okay, wait, but how was my TV delivered?
What if you would have been in like New York or something, or like Colorado?
Yeah. So I like rushed. I like basically just dropped everything, and I like rushed over here. It took like maybe like a 15 to 20 minute drive, and we're pulling up to my house, and there on the streets of San Francisco lies a TV just on the sidewalk next to my house. I'm like, Walmart, what are you thinking? Like,
well, you know what Walmart's thinking is, if it gets jacked, we'll just give them another one.
I know.
Because they just don't give a fuck. Like,
Isn't
it doesn't
that
matter
insane?
for them. They just like have the inventory, I guess.
Yeah, they're just like, oh yeah,
Josh,
we'll lose 1,000.
Josh, steal my TV really quick. Oh no, where did it go? It's not here. Send me a new one.
We were kind of thinking that, you know, I mean, it would be really easy to scam, is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not endorsing a scam, but I'm also not endorsing a scam for anyone who's watching.
Anybody who endorses the scam is already on it with the Walmart thing.
They
know all about it. I went there one time. I went there. I forgot why, but there was like a really long line for the returns aisle. Because it was looking kind of shady, let me tell you. And it was, because the people know that Walmart did not require a receipt for returns.
Ooh.
Half the time, then they would give people like cash refunds on stuff. So people probably were like just jacking stuff from Walmart and then going into that return aisle and be like, I lost my receipt or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I think eventually, I don't know, somehow maybe they like changed it just a little bit. Like, I don't know. But it's kind of crazy. Like, they've always been a thing. It's always been a thing for them.
Yeah, anyway. So if anyone wants a free TV, order a TV from Walmart. Make sure you're not home, and then just tell a friend.
Yeah, come jack my television.
Yeah, just steal this television. I mean, who would know the better unless they like hacked your phone and figured out the private messages that you made?
Unless they listen to this live broadcasted podcast.
Right. They'd have to trace it back though that you watched this podcast, and like that's pretty. They're not going to figure that out. You know?
I hate to say that I got something like kind of cheap and like not necessary from Walmart delivered to my house a couple weeks ago, and I did not like the item that they sent me. It was like a piece of clothing actually, and then I tried to file a return, and then they said that I could just keep it, that they would refund me anyway, and they were like, you don't have to return this item, but here's your refund.
Damn.
I'm just like, okay.
That's so crazy.
That's the thing. Yeah, you can do that too.
Shit.
With some stuff. I'm pretty sure Amazon does that too with a lot of their stuff. I mean, they've done that for a few things on Amazon for me too.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They're very lenient with their return policies.
Convenient.
All right, I think you guys, we should probably get to Speed, the movie that we are going to be reviewing. Now, the briefest of intro here. Speed, 1994 film starring Keanu Reeves, Sandra Bullock, Dennis Hopper. This is directed by, I'm not sure how you say his name, but I'm going to say Jan de Bont. And this was his feature film debut.
Jan de Bont.
Jan de Bont.
Jan de Bont?
You know,
Jan,
one of those.
because he's like from the Netherlands, I think.
Is he?
So J is pronounced with like a Y.
Well, this is his first feature-length film. He later went on to direct Twister and Tomb Raider, the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider that came out in 2003.
Right.
Twister came out in 1996, but this was his first. This was his very first. Oh, and he also directed the sequel to Speed, which was it was not well received. I've not seen it, but
I didn't see that either.
But I hear it's terrible.
When we talk about spoilers, I mean, we have to talk about Speed 2 and spoilers for like a couple, like there's something. I have notes.
Oh, please, yeah.
So,
yeah. I love when a guest takes notes. It really just warms my heart.
Oh yeah, I haven't done anything academic in many years, so any chance that I have to do anything remotely, like, look I'm studying, I'm good, I'm a good student, please love me. So, I took notes. So
right on. So 1994. It's an action movie. If you haven't seen it, I mean, it was a pretty big film in the I guess mid 90s. It's about a bus that's been rigged by a bomber, and the kind of premise here is that the bus must stay over 50 miles per hour, and if it dips under 50 miles per hour, then the bus will explode. So hence the name Speed. They got to keep the speed up. Okay, get it? Huh?
Pump it up.
Pump up the speed. Now, Speed.
Great premise.
It is a great. I mean, like, I feel like that's such a cool little log line in a way of just like let people know here's what you're going to be dealing with, and it's like you want to see that. You're like, yeah, I mean, sign me up for that. Let's see what they do with that. And I feel like, well, I mean, I won't get into how I feel, but let's start with you, Ginger.
Yes.
What did you think of Speed?
Well,
oh, and sorry to cut you off, but we won't be spoiling the film initially, so if you haven't seen Speed, we're not going to talk any specifics about scenes. We're just going to kind of give our first impressions right now. Anyways, sorry, Ginger, go ahead.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, I'm trying to figure out how to not spoil the movie, because anyways, what were my first impressions? Well, the first time I saw Speed, I was but a child. And I remember this being the first rated R movie I have ever seen. Like, this was the one. And as I was rewatching it, I'm like, why was this movie rated R? And it's because I guess they say the F word, but there's so many missed swearing opportunities if you watch this movie. Like, there's so much unswearing, when I'm just like, ooh, this would be a much mouthier movie if it was made today. But I
like that it's like that. I like that it's not overuse of swearing.
Right.
Especially by the people on the bus. It's so funny.
Oh my God. Yeah. So my first impression was, and it's not like I remembered Speed for its great acting, but wow, the acting in it is so bad. Like, or just like, whoa, the star of the movie is Keanu, of course, but the person who actually acted the best was definitely Sandra Bullock and her 90s eyebrows. Wow. Those were such 90s eyebrows. Like, it does like little like dip and swoop, just like the perfectly like shaped kind of like curly eyebrow, thin, kind of like with the bangs. Oh my gosh. So I was taken aback by how 90s Sandra Bullock was and how good it looked. I was like, damn, okay, I get it now. I remember. And just like how much I still liked the movie, but also was like, this lives better in my memory. Like, this is aged better in the ethos of some stuff. But I wrote down many details that gave me a good old chuckle.
Good.
So if we want to rotate to those later, but my first impressions were, wow, the acting was way worse than I thought it was. And but also it's certainly like still endearing in my heart. And I'm not mad that we chose this movie to also, I'm the one who picked it. I was like, what are my three choices, Dominic? Oh my God, speed. But once we get into spoilers, I'll have some other like movies that I'm like, shit, I wish I had pitched this movie or that movie, but we'll get there later.
Oh no, I was very happy to do this.
Oh yeah.
Laura, what did you think of Speed?
I love this movie. It's just a classic. I mean, yeah, I watched it when I was a kid too, and I remember just being on the edge of my seat in the theater when I saw it. But like, it was funny because I didn't watch this movie for this podcast recently. It was a couple weeks ago. Anton and I were here at home, and I was like in the kitchen. I wanted to make a dinner at like midnight. And he's like, should we watch a movie? And I was like, yeah, can you just put something on that I don't have to pay attention to that much? And he's like, And then he's like, this movie comes on and I see the font, I'm like seeing the orange, like something familiar. I was like, wait a minute, what is this? He's like, you'll see. And then all of a sudden I see, the big block letters. And I'm like, yes, this is great. But I want to watch this. I don't want to not pay attention. I want to be able to like say, hang out. But I was still making dinner, but I just could not like tear myself away from the TV. Like, so, I mean, yeah, it's full of wonderful bad acting moments, especially like wonderful one-liners by Keanu, such as "There's a bomb on your bus." I love it.
Bomb on bus.
And like
bomb on bus.
And just hilarious one-liners from the people on the bus who are like, "Oh my god!" And another person who's like, "Why does she get to get off the bus and not me?"
Oh yeah, the bickering is so.
It's just so funny. Like the acting by those people, it was like they were cast as extras that like got to say a line.
They were
it was
extras.
like their one time to shine, and I just felt that it was really hilarious. I mean, I didn't remember how much. Well, I don't think I realized how bad that acting was, or that it was so funny as a kid. But watching it now, I mean, it was just like laugh out loud funny, and totally entertaining. It just keeps you hooked from the beginning into not the beginning's not quite as, I mean, because there's like some stuff that has to happen before like the main plot of the movie happens. But like
one of my notes was there was a 3-minute long elevator intro scene, like
right.
that. The intro scene to the movie itself is like entirely too long, just going down the fucking elevator showing all the names. I'm like, this is 3 minutes into this movie. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just think it's a great premise, and it's action packed, and it's a lot of fun. So I highly recommend it. Dominic, what do you think?
Yeah, it is funny that you mentioned like it's like, were these extras hired for something that they saw bus passenger number 4? They're like, I guess I'm bus passenger number 4 in Speed. And you would think that would be like a very small role. And then just like turns out that like this bus sequence is an hour long.
Like, I know, like they're in the movie, but then they only get to, but the thing is they're getting paid because they get to say a line, but that line is like delivered in such a bad way.
They're
but it's so good.
They're technically a part of SAG, but only just barely.
Yeah.
That might not have been enough to get them into SAG, but maybe.
Yeah, I thought the movie I thought the movie's great. I mean, like it's like a excellent bad movie. Like the acting's pretty bad. There's like cheesy one-liners left and right, but the premise is like so good that it kind of just transcends it all, because you're like, this is, you just want to see what's going to happen next. And plus I just feel like scene after scene, especially like the bus segment, which and I say the bus segment with it's the majority of the movie, but I will say like Laura kind of briefed, is like there is sort of a first short little act and then like a final little act, and those two I was not so crazy about. I was kind of into the elevator scene, but like not so much. The ending, like we'll talk about it, but not into it. But like the bus scene, which is basically probably like an hour and 20 minutes of this movie, is just jam-packed with creative ideas, and I feel like every new obstacle that kind of gets thrown at them, they find like a really fun creative solution that not only is creative, but it's like visually exciting to watch, and they like really think of just, I mean, any possible thing you could do with a bus. They're just like, we're gonna do it in this movie. I had never seen this movie from start to finish. I mean, I had seen a couple little moments here and there. So like I remember that scene where he walks in and he's like, there's a bomb on the bus. Like I've seen these moments.
Bomb on your butt.
I had seen like select little moments. Bomb on bus.
It's also funny how Keanu Reeves, like the way he just says certain lines is just so like intrinsically him during that time. Like when he looks at Sandra Bullock and goes,
I'm gonna put this light on.
You're really good at this. He's like, you're really good at this. I think you have a future in law enforcement. I can't even do it. You just like,
and then they're like,
my face. It's like, I think you have a future in law enforcement. I don't know. He just is what he is. I don't know. I never even thought he was like a bad actor when I was in the 90s, you know, or in the 80s. Like I always thought he was just did what his character was supposed to be, but there is something kind of like monotone about him that's really funny.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's not a good actor, but he's like kind of perfect for this role because it doesn't really require great acting.
Than he is now. Yeah, but like I mean,
also he's kind of looking good in this, I will say.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. No, he was a handsome young bloke.
I've not really even ever thought that so much about Keanu. Like I see that he's a moderately handsome man that's kind of not for me, you know? But in this movie I was like, okay, I guess he's a little for me at times.
No, he's like attractive for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used to not think so either. Yeah.
But anyways, I mean, that's my main impression is just, man, I mean, this is just kind of a must see, you know? Like it's I'm not even really into action movies. I have to put that out there. Like the vast majority of them I find pretty shallow or just kind of like not actually exciting. It's just like a lot of spectacle but no substance. But this is just like so fun.
That's because action movies have changed since the 90s had good action movies, and so did the 80s. But then after that, they got stupid. Yeah. Can I just divert for 1 second and say, I watched a kind of fun action movie 2 nights ago that was reminiscent of this movie, but not nearly as good. But it's called it was called Unhinged. And it's with what's his name? You know, Russell Crowe. And it's basically about road rage, and it's like he's this really angry guy who has road rage and he like kills people.
Shit, all right.
And it's actually really fucking funny. Like I watched it, and I mean it's not supposed to be funny, it's supposed to be kind of like an action thriller, you know? And I gotta say, like well, it's not a good movie, but it might be worth just checking out because it's kind of fun. And look, I didn't choose to watch it. It was clearly Anton's choice, as you probably would have guessed. But not a bad flick to, if you enjoyed Speed, you might enjoy this. I mean, Russell Crowe is unhinged. He's a crazy road rage driver. He gets mad, you know? He gets mad when people honk his horn, and then that makes him want to kill people.
Damn. I
mean, that's funny.
I like
Think about that premise. It's like
sounds kind of like
imagine the pitching board, you know, when they were in the room, when they were in the movie, they're like, all right, we've got a great script. The idea is Russell Crowe is a really upset driver.
Well,
like, how did the producers were just like, I love it. We're doing this.
Where did the movie take place? Was it?
Or it takes place in America.
Oh, okay.
It takes place in like, I think Colorado.
Oh, interesting. Because for a second you're kind of doing like a British or maybe Australian accent.
Yeah.
Well, that's because he's Australian, I think. Russell Crowe.
Yeah, Russell Crowe is. Yeah.
I think,
Ginger,
so I just imagine that whoever wrote it is also Australian for some reason.
I think we might have lost Ginger.
Oh no.
Well, hopefully, I might be a computer died situation, so hopefully she will just rejoin the Zoom shortly. But I also just want to say too, like I was watching this with friends, and like we were cool. I mean, this was just like we were cracking up. I mean, I just feel like we were going through the whole range. Like we were legitimately on the edge of our seats at times. We were cracking up other times. I mean, you know, at intentional and unintentional moments. Like there is just, I mean, it's just jam packed, especially in like that first half of the bus sequence. I was just like, this is just crazy. Like, what are they going to think of next? And then of course they just like kind of keep topping it. Like it kind of, I feel like it kind of plateaued a little bit after a while, but like, man, I mean, this is just, I mean, get some friends together and watch Speed if you have never done such a thing, because what an evening this was. I mean, we were just like having a complete blast.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a blast. It's a blast. That's how I would explain this movie. It's a blast.
It's a blast. And it really is like the most accurate description. I mean, you're just going to have a great time. Hopefully we'll get Ginger back in here in the meeting. But I do want to get to spoilers. Oh, she just texted me.
Dennis Hopper was like hilarious in it, kind of.
Yeah.
And Alan Ruck, who's you might probably know better from such movies as Ferris Bueller's Day Off and a show that you wait. Have you been watching Succession?
Oh yeah, I mean I've seen the
Okay.
I've seen the first. Well, I've seen it all up to the end of season 2.
You know, Alan Ruck is one of the brother. Like, he's
yeah,
like
I know. Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
We were trying to figure out who that dude was because we were like, wait, I recognize him from somewhere. And then my friend Lainey, who I was watching it with, she was like, oh wait, he's the brother in Succession. And we were like, what? He is like randomly one of the people in this movie. Who I mean,
well, he was in like he was in a fair amount of things, like in the 90s and 80s and stuff like that. And well, he's funny though in this movie, kind of. It's just like he also is one of the kind of bad actors on the bus.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Alex is watching. Alex says Laura's camera is like split in half. Alex, that's just because Ginger was just in the meeting, and then I think her internet just died, so she's trying to rejoin. So you will see half of Laura for now.
That is so weird.
but once Ginger rejoins, it kind of will bump her back up to where she's supposed to be. And there's Ginger. Perfect timing.
I'm back. Okay.
What's up, Ginger?
Woo. Sorry.
It's okay. It's all good.
All right. My whole internet on my laptop was just like, go fuck yourself. I'm like, no, but I'm talking and my opinions are important.
Oh, now my camera's all freaking out. But we were just about to get to spoilers. I feel like that would be a good little next step here. I mean, spoilers. Again, if you haven't seen Speed, I mean, you should definitely see Speed. But I don't really feel like there's too much you can spoil. But I would say if you haven't seen Speed, watch Speed, come back to this, and then watch the rest of the podcast. But we are going to talk about all the specifics. Specific scenes, the ending, etc., etc. So, putting up our spoiler warning. And Ginger, it sounded like you had an extensive list of things that made you laugh, and I'm kind of curious as to what some of those were.
Well, there's a few trends that I noticed throughout the movie. One of which is the reoccurring problem of infrastructure not being finished. AKA the fucking freeway gap. This part of the freeway isn't finished.
Right.
And then they go to the fucking airport. During that part of the airport, is that part of the airport finished? And then the fucking subway at the end is not finished. This is why we need to hope Biden gets this $2 trillion infrastructure bill through, because look at shit is falling apart left and right. Think of how many times they would have had an easier time if the infrastructure had been finished.
Well, let's just think about that. If the subway was finished, then what would happen?
Oh, well, they just would have coasted to I don't know. They would have just gone in a loop until someone figured it out, That's
yeah,
in a loop?
actually,
is that what subways do? They go in a loop when they're finished?
Well, sometimes.
All right.
Question.
Well, not necessarily always. I mean, think about our subway in the Bay Area. BART has ends. There's like ends
so it
everywhere.
could have ended like at the airport and crashed into an airport.
Again, full circle. It would have had more continuity than just in the middle of Hollywood, though.
Right.
Wait, I do. Before you continue with that list,
cool.
I simply must talk about that as well, because that is a huge point of contention for me. Like okay, so they already did this idea with the bus, which is like, the freeway has a gap, they jump the gap, it's very exciting, everyone's cheering, blah blah blah. And then like at the end of the movie, there's this like 15 to 20 minute little tacked on segment with the subway that like honestly I was just very not into. And like they just do the same thing, and also it didn't even make sense to me. Like he's like, we gotta speed up, we're gonna jump the track, and I'm like, what? So you're gonna do the same thing that, like, the solution was the same too. They're like, oh, there's a gap, well, we gotta jump it. And like,
that's how he does it.
But also
he knows it works.
But also when we actually ultimately see what this thing even is, I'm thinking like, actually it seemed like this would have gone a lot smoother had you slowed down or just kept the same speed. Like, it just seemed like there was no gap necessarily. It was just unfinished.
Were there brakes? Were the brakes shot in the subway?
No, the brakes were not working. That was the problem.
Oh, okay.
Well, on the subway.
Right, but couldn't they have just kept the same speed? And honestly probably done less damage. Like they literally just blast through.
Oh
yeah. No.
All that infrastructure gone.
No, because if they kept the same speed, then they would have like not had enough momentum to do whatever he was trying to do.
I think
which is what?
I don't remember.
Their lives were more important than all the hard work all the people had done on the tunnel already, and they're like,
yeah.
I like fuck everybody else.
No, Keanu Reeves needed to be able to like get blasted off so that his body could land perfectly on top of Sandra Bullock. That was more important than all the hard work people did on the subway in like Hollywood Boulevard or whatever.
Love that it just ended with an implied sex scene too. Like they're just in the cheesiest way. She was just like, relationships never last when they're built on some intense situation, and he's like, or no, and then she goes like, well, I guess we'll just have to base this one on sex then. And then, like that's like the final line of the movie, and then just like pans out, and you're like, okay, I guess they're fucking right now in front of like 10 people.
That's how stuff happens back then.
So all right, I alluded to this earlier. Where we would have to talk about the sequel, and going back to that line, like relationships don't work out, that are whatever the fuck. Clearly they don't, because if you read the synopsis for Speed 2, she's there with her new boyfriend, and I'm like, Keanu didn't pan out with Keanu, I guess, because now she's got some other dude. And
was Keanu even in part 2?
No, he wasn't. That's why no one gives a shit about Speed 2, because there's no Keanu.
Yeah,
and then,
see, people like Keanu.
People love that dude, and
I love him now.
I do as well. And so I was reading part 2, the synopsis, and then I was so here's a derailment. Here's a derailment of a different kind. So I was watching this on Amazon, and then Speed 2 is like the next thing, and I'm like, well, what other related movies are there? And this is where I'm like, fuck, I should have suggested this movie to watch, but maybe we could do it next time.
Yeah.
Dante's Peak. Did you guys watch Dante's Peak?
I would love to do that, because that movie I saw whenever it was in theater, so I don't know what the exact year is, but I went
1994. It's this, or no, 97 I think.
97. So I would have been 8. Somehow I convinced my parents to take me to that movie for my birthday, and I went with a couple friends. And we went to the theater, but I got so scared in like 20 to 30 minutes in that I like told my parents that I wanted to leave, and I canceled the whole thing. We left the movie theater because I was too scared by Dante's Inferno. Dante's Peak.
Dante's Peak. That movie, like I had an irrational fear of volcanoes all throughout my childhood because of Dante's Peak. So I understand, and I'm right there with you, Dominic. Another reason why we should have been friends.
Exactly. We could have bonded.
Man, I haven't seen that.
Boy,
I don't know much about it. I mean, I heard of it, but I remember it being a movie from the 90s, but I didn't know what it was about.
I could go on, Volcano. But I could go on.
But we should do that,
But we're going to talk about Speed today. So, but just know that was a little flutter in my heart. Also, while we're on this extemporaneous side note about other movies that I would have loved to review with you guys that are old, now that we know that that's a possibility, that I can just be like, well, let's do this one from the past. I was listening to one of the episodes where you guys were talking about Robin Williams a lot, and I was like, oh my God, we should have reviewed 1 Hour Photo. And
I love 1 Hour Photo.
Mostly, and more importantly, like I do that same type of work. Like I would have plenty. So, we'll do a back-to-back triple length episode, Dante's Peak, 1 Hour Photo. So anyway, Speed.
We got multiple reasons to bring you back now.
But another really important, not to keep hogging all the talking points about the end, but so if we're in super spoiler territory, I have much to say about Dennis Hopper in this movie. I thought his character was going to be a little bit more sophisticated, but it was just like, the climax to his storyline of him and Keanu wrestling atop the speeding subway train, like it was.
He just gets taken out by an exit sign.
He gets beheaded. I don't know. Not only was this the first R-rated movie that I had seen, and the first time I had ever heard anyone say "fuck me," I was like, "Whoa, fuck me!"
Fuck me.
That rang in my mind. But I saw Dennis Hopper clearly get beheaded, and it has stuck with me for I don't know how many years, 20 years now, is 1990, whatever. Yep. Yep, 20 years. That tracks. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Kind of just happens though, doesn't it? It's like it's weird how like it happens because usually in these kind of or in a movie where the bad guy is about to get killed, there's multiple moments where he's about to get killed or where he like seemingly dies.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in this one, he just dies. You know what I mean? It's like he gets beheaded and that's that.
Well, they really like wrapped
you know
this up in a really weird way. Like the ending is not great. I feel like after the bus is done, they kind of ran out of ideas. All the great ideas are on the bus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like it really just should have ended after that. I was kind of like, wait, why are we still okay? Now Sandra Bullock's in trouble. Like we don't need this.
Yeah.
I was down for it. I mean, I'm down, you know. I was down for the subway part. I mean, it's pretty fun, I think.
Really? Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was just kind of over it at that point. I was like, nothing's going to top the bus for me, so I don't know why they're trying.
It was a 2-hour movie, so I'm like, wow, this was 2 hours?
2 hours of fun.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, an hour and a half of fun, in my opinion. I actually really did like the elevator sequence though in the beginning. I thought that was also a great little tone setter that while of course it's not the bus, it sets the tone for just what kind of fun you're in for. You know, like I feel like it's intense. It's like a really condensed version of what you're now going to see, which is like the main act with the bus. Like it's jam packed with just like, you know, edge of your seat entertainment, and you're like laughing and you're also like freaking out because you're like, get these people out of there. And then like that lady was like, no, I'm not going. I'm like, what?
Bitch,
why would you not?
Die then.
She's like, I can't do this.
I can't do. All you have to do is walk over to safety and leave.
Some fun part of the bus is remember Keanu had to get off the bus to negotiate or some shit. And he's just like, I'm leaving, and everyone's like, motherfucker. And then like just some car drives up to the bus, and he just so flawlessly, just like it's like effortless, like I'm just getting off, okay, bye. And then I was like, wow, this was not hard at all. Like
I laughed hard at that. I mean, because there's so much intensity with other moments, like trying to get the car to go the right speed and like get close enough, and like he barely makes the jump into it. And then I'm like, wait, now 20 minutes later, he just simply steps off onto another car and then like has a whole conversation on the side of their car too, like just casually hanging on.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
What's happening right now?
Damn. Don't get dead. One of my favorite lines from the movie, repeated from the chief, like don't get dead. Right. Like, damn, okay, I fucks with it.
How about the guy whose car he has to steal, and he's like, man, take the car. At first he's like, please don't hurt my car.
Do you have insurance?
He's
Why
like,
did he have to
take the car?
Damn, I know.
Classic.
Yeah.
There was certainly some pretty outdated race stuff, I will say, like.
The car isn't stolen. Yeah,
like he just like assumes that guy. I just mean like there's just some outdated stuff, which is like these two white action heroes, specifically with Keanu, like this white, you know, dude who's this action hero, and then like it feels like the first few people of color that you see in this movie are all in some sort of state of like just serving him, you know, like first that the black guy in the car like just has to give up his car, and then he completely ruins his car, and then he gets on this bus, and then that guy who has the gun or whatever, he like stands up and points the gun at him, and then it's like totally assumed that this guy has done a bunch of crimes in his past, and I'm like, wait, what is this leap of logic that he must have done crimes that he now is like atoned for because white man Keanu says that he is atoned? I was like, this is a little 90s, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
It was definitely showing its age with that kind of stuff, I will say. Like, there was some cringe for sure in this movie with like that, and also just a lot of the dialogue is just truly terrible.
Oh God. Okay, and how did everyone on the bus know each other's names? That's truly like the leap out of reality for me, is like, so you guys are all friends on this bus? Like, you all do the same commute every day and you became friends? Yeah, sure. People on the bus in LA.
Oh, I love them like announcing to each other, like, why they take the bus. Like, Sandra Bullock talks with that one lady pretty early on in the movie, like I think right when she gets on the bus, and they're just like announcing to each other why they're there.
I lost my car.
Yeah.
Well, I lost my car got towed or whatever she said.
Yeah.
I got a speeding ticket.
Like, yikes.
You're like, I don't think this is how anyone talks on the bus. Like, first of all, no one's talking on the bus to like strangers. And then second, it's like, I don't think you just announce the...
I don't know. Have you ever been a regular person taking the bus? Have you ever taken a bus regularly? A regular city bus?
Not in a long time.
Like on a regular basis?
Yes.
And no, you never talked to the people?
I feel like I was too young. I definitely took like the exact same bus. You know what brings all right, so I don't really recall from back in the day, but you know what brings a shine to my heart or like warmth to my heart is in reality now these days when I'm driving somewhere, because I'm driving and I'm driving in the same neighborhood on the same path that I've taken at the same time over and over again, and I see the same people. Like, of course I'm not talking to them, I'm just driving by them, but I'm like, oh my god, it's that old guy with the old dog again. Like, it's that weird white guy with really long dreads. Okay, he's still out here. And like, you just like, it doesn't happen every day, but you know, just having to drive and not being on the same like committed scheduled thing and then still seeing the same things occurring, I feel like it's extra serendipitous. So I do believe that there are some buses where maybe some people get friendly, for sure. But the fact that Sandra Bullock knew like exactly the bus driver was going to be like, Sam, you son of a bitch, don't stop without me. You know, I was kind of like, wow, this is not very LA. Or from what I know about any major metropolitan area, I'm pretty impressed that she knew the bus driver's name at least. So.
Oh, I also loved the sequence where the bus driver is like bleeding out and then Keanu's next move is to flirt with Sandra Bullock. And they just have like this whole sequence where they're just like establishing the fact that they're going to be romantic interests for each other, for us, the audience, so clearly. And like literally directly behind them you see the bus driver just like tending to his wounds. I'm like, how about we figure out this bus driver situation before we start trying to get in her pants? Like, what the hell's going on right now?
Damn, right? Woof. Woof.
I mean, it was all in good fun though. I mean, man, it was like hilarious. And also, like, actually, I think one of the sequences that was legitimately good, as far as the action went, was like when they actually got off the freeway pretty early on, and then they're like going through the city streets and like,
oh yeah, that's fucked.
Man, that was so fun. Like with the baby carriage that ends up being a bunch of cans. What's the line that he says? He's like, "Not a baby, it's cans." I'm just like, what?
It's like, what does that mean to someone?
You could take that out of context and just it would mean nothing.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
It was great. I had a great time with this movie. Could not recommend enough.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you guys wanted to mention?
Oh, fun fact, at the very end of the movie when the subway is just plowing out into the streets, if you look at what's the theater that they have all the premieres at?
Man's Chinese
Men. That theater, 2001 A Space Odyssey is playing, and I thought that was really cool. So fun little Easter egg for you Kubrick nerds. You know, thought that was really neat. So I think we had actually, surprisingly, a lot of my bullet points. I'm really impressed at myself. Yeah.
Anything we missed that you wanted to get to?
I had other bullet points written about what I've been watching lately, but we're past that.
You could briefly mention that, and then we'll probably wrap it up.
Well, this has to do with Keanu. I was on a little quarantine action in August through an asymptomatic positive test result, which was very, what is it called? Like existentially draining, like, oh my God, but I was fine. No worries. And I contact traced myself. Everyone was good. May have been a false positive. Who knows? But to cheer myself up, I finally watched John Wick because I had never seen it. Like, I've seen many other Keanu movies, but not John Wick. And this kind of like reminded me of like, yeah, just destroying a bunch of shit, not caring about it. Okay, I get this. This is John Wick. He's been doing this shit for years. This is great. Like, so.
Is it good, or I mean, because I've never seen John Wick either.
It's satisfying if you have a thirst for blood, and you can understand why it has made its way into popular music, just being muttered in the background, just saying John Wick in the background of songs talking about stuff. I can't remember what song it was, but those of you who are just fucking cooler than I am will know what song I'm talking about. Where they just say John Wick in the background. Yeah, I'm glad I watched it.
It's so popular. It's so popular.
And I think that's crazy. What it was. It's just kind of like, okay, I will participate in the zeitgeist by watching this. And therefore I feel like Speed is kind of like participating in the 1990s zeitgeist. If you have missed out, I'm not saying it's, peak cinema, but I am saying it is peak 90s action.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it is for you action cinephiles out there who want to watch some really bad acting, but lots of it's pre-Michael Bay. So it's kind of like some of the original like big explosions. That's not Terminator kind of affair.
Yeah, and pre-superheroes. Like I feel like superheroes have completely taken over the action genre, and it's really disappointing because if you're not into superheroes, then there's basically nothing for you. That's
there is, and it's called Unhinged.
Okay, I'll check out Unhinged.
That's the closest thing to a '90s action movie I've seen in years. Seriously.
Okay.
I mean, it's kind of funny.
I'll look into it.
Watch it. Yeah, look into it.
All right. Any final thoughts, Laura?
Well,
final words of wisdom.
No, there was a funny joke that me and my brother were riffing on the other night that I kind of wanted to share, but I don't know if it's gonna be that funny to you.
I mean,
well, it was like we were just talking about wouldn't it be funny if you went up to Keanu Reeves or somebody famous and you recognize them from something really obscure but not their most famous thing? Like if you went up to Keanu Reeves and you were like, "Hey, are you that guy from that band Dogstar?"
What?
He was in a band called Dogstar in the early 90s or late 80s or something like that. That was really unknown.
Wow, what did he play?
He went up to Keanu and I think he played guitar. And if you're like, "Aren't you that guy who was in that? Were you in that band Dogstar?" Would he be like, yeah, I was. Cool." Or would he'd be like, "Oh yeah, I am." Or if you went up to Leonardo DiCaprio and you're like, "Were you in that movie Don's Plum?" Which is a very obscure, weird 90s movie also that was not known by people.
I think
he was like, yeah. Would he be like, yeah, I gotta go? What would they say? Or
I feel
what?
What if then he was trying to figure out if you had seen some of his bigger stuff? He's like, "Well, yeah, but I mean, have you happened to have seen Titanic?" And you're just like, "Yeah."
Oh, wait, you mean that movie with Kate Winslet and Kathy Bates?
Exactly.
Wait, were you in that?
Yeah, exactly.
No, or if you went up to Keanu Reeves and you were like, "Wait, were you in that movie that it was it stars Samuel L. Jackson and he's very slick and there's a lot of people who are wearing these kind of futuristic jackets and it's something about mattress and he's like, the Matrix." And you're like, "That's it, Matrix."
Damn, I was like,
and then what he just
Samuel L. Jackson's not in that movie.
I mean, not so.
Do you mean,
sorry, I meant Lawrence Fishburne.
Lawrence Fishburne,
that was horrible. No, but then he was and then he'd be like, yeah, I gotta go." Would he just be so offended?
I hear he's super nice, so maybe he would just I don't know, melt our hearts or
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah.
Oh no, I heard he's really, really nice. But at a certain point, if you were just recognizing every other person in every movie that he was in, and then you were like, "But were you in that one?
You were in that too?"
He's the number one biggest star in all these movies, and then we don't even know his name.
What's that
movie
with you and Dennis Hopper what's that movie with Dennis Hopper and Sandra Bullock and whoever the bus driver was? That was a good movie. Oh, you were in that? Oh, what was his friend's name? Jeff Daniels. Jeff Daniels, thank you. I was
Right.
I'm like, Squid and the Whale guy. Whoa. Like, what else has he been in? I always forget.
Dumb and Dumber is all I
Jeff
like.
Daniels?
I always think Dumb and Dumber when I think Jeff Daniels, which is like probably not what he's most known for, but to me he is.
Right.
What
I mean,
he's
in
Dumb and
Dumber. I don't know. Like,
is it pre or post Speed?
Post. Was it?
Sure, post.
Wow.
Well, Dumb and Dumber came out in 94.
94.
So did Speed.
Same year.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm talking about a versatile actor.
Wow, he really just jumped from one to the other, huh?
Yeah, talk about not being typecast.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to do a serious action movie and then I'm going to do an absolutely absurd comedy.
You know what I've never seen? I've never seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh my god, now that is peak adventure, like action. Well, I mean, it's just a great movies. I mean, a great movie, plural, because there's two really great ones, which is that one and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure Part 2, or Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I like both of them a lot.
Ooh.
I like Part 1 more, but Part 3 came out like this past year or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Don't watch that. We did it for the podcast. It's pretty terrible in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah. The first two though, go for it.
Man, do you think they'll make a Speed 3? And if so, all right, this is how we should wrap up our Speed thoughts.
Yeah.
All right.
I would love a Speed 3.
Speed 3 would be what though? What could it be? What transportation mode? I mean,
like
we can't.
Keanu Reeves comes back.
What about a lift? They could really bring it into the modern day if it was like a lift car that like someone got picked up in a lift and then that lift has to go.
No, it was a self-driving.
Oh yeah, self-driving car.
No, but then they have to take it over.
Oh my god.
Or the person but the person. Oh, and it's so far in the future that people don't know how to drive anymore. So they have to like.
Right. Yes.
Okay, I like this.
Learn how to drive.
Oh my god, that's genius. I actually really like that premise where it's just like you have to take over the vehicle, but you don't know how to drive because we're a post-driving
world.
And Dennis Hopper's on the other end going, "Just make it." What did he say? That where he's like, "Figure this one out. Figure it out, kid."
Pop quiz.
No, I know, but what does he say where he's like, "Just do it," or he tells him like in so many words to just do it or something like that. But it's like a funny one-liner. I forget what it was.
It's not make it work.
I hadn't seen it as recently. I watched it like probably a week and a half before you guys watched it, so I'm not. It's not fresh in my mind anymore. But like, he had some good lines.
There's some good ones, yeah. All right, well, I think that's gonna do it for us. I think it's pretty unanimous. You should definitely watch this movie if you haven't seen it. Ginger, thank you so much for being on another episode of Totally Tell Me. Glad to have you. Yeah, we would love to have you back, and I think you were making some great suggestions. Well, we should definitely do one of those next time.
I'm here for it. I'm here whenever you need me. I'll be there.
Awesome. Well, we will definitely have you back. So Totally Tell Me, we go live every 2 Sundays at 7 p.m. on Twitch, YouTube.
J'ai faim de